Okay, we are going to get started. You have the option of taking Sukhasana or easy seated pose or laying in Shavasana. So, however you'd like to get started today, can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So, if you want to start laying down or if you want to be seated, it is totally up to you. Today's practice is release and renewal. And this practice is perfect for this full moon we have today. We have a full moon in Gemini, and full moons are very cleansing. And I didn't even look at the moon calendar, oddly enough, when I scheduled this class. But here we are. So, in this full moon practice of release and renewal, this is a time under the beaver full moon. And the beaver medicine energetically is about finding a new way. It's about finding a new path. Maybe there's something that has been coming up for you this last week or this last month, and you are trying to find a solution. You're trying to find a new way to navigate this situation. Maybe even something that you're trying to figure out if you should let go of it, something needs to end. And you may have already seen this within the month. Maybe there's something that is a chapter, cycle within you or around you that you are looking to let go of. We're heading into the winter towards the end of our year. So, this is an all encompassing cycle of ending our year um, and starting anew. So, as you move through the practice today, I'd like to invite you to think about what it is that you are releasing and to really embody the energy of the beaver here. So, finding a new path, look for illuminations, messages that may be coming through from your subconscious, from your guides, from your body, uh, nudging you in some direction, something that you need to release here today or this week. So, take a moment here to take a few deep breaths. Exhaling, being mindful of the release, and think about what your intention is for today's practice. What are you letting go of, releasing as you exhale and move through your practice? And what can you bring in? What renewal will this bring for you? What new energy can be cultivated in this space now that it's clearing? Beaver medicine is also coming together as a community and leaning on each other in our strengths and supporting each other. And it's much like the practice of yoga. You find your community, you find your people that you join with, meditations and different offerings. Here at Soul Center, we have quite the beautiful community. As you move through your practice today, maybe think about sharing your light and, as Julia would say, take a little sip of someone else's light. See if we can share in community in our strengths and in our weaknesses and support each other. We can do this just by imagining our light extending out around us into the world to those we come in contact with. And trust in the knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be, right here, right now. Placing your hands over your heart space. Really seed that intention in for your practice. What are you releasing here? What is no longer serving you? It could be a story that you tell yourself, a relationship, a job, an idea. What can you release here? What can you leave on the mat? And take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it all go. Okay. Our first posture today will be fire log. So if you are already in a seated position, you can remain here for a moment while the rest of our friends join us. If you are in Shavasana, just come to Sukhasana here to start. Make sure you have your blocks nearby. They can help support you. And fire log is a deep hip opener. You can also have the option to stay seated in Sukhasana just with your legs crossed here if you would like to remain there, or take another posture that you feel called to take. But we'll begin by bringing our right ankle to the top of our left knee and bringing the legs to be parallel to each other. Now you can place a block here under your knee to help support and close that gap. And always be mindful of our knees. If this seems to be a little too intense, feel free to release the block, to bring the legs out in front of you, whatever feels good to you. So find a nice, long, tall spine. Our crown of our head reaching towards the universe, towards the cosmos here. Connecting with our guidance, all that is out there in the ethers. Let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. See if you can just find some stillness here. Begin to notice the sensations that are coming alive in your body. Just tuning into noticing what it feels like to listen from within. How does your body speak to you? And drawing your attention to the space between your brows in the middle of your forehead. Just imagine this golden light here beginning to flicker, beginning to glow as your deep inner wisdom comes alive, your intrinsic knowing comes online, and you connect. Maybe there are some questions that you'd like to ask your highest, best version within you, your favorite version of you, as I like to say. If there wasn't an intention that you had set, maybe you had trouble coming up with one. See if it arises throughout your practice. Asking yourself, what do I need to release? And if you do have an intention, affirming that here, I am releasing self-doubt. I am releasing that which I cannot change. I am releasing grief, whatever that may be for you. 3 more breaths here. And remove the block. Exhale and gently unwind, maybe bringing the legs out in front of you and just shaking them out a little, releasing our little roots, our little tap roots into the earth. Okay, switching to the other side. So if you are in Sukhasana, just crossing your legs the opposite way this time. And if you are moving into fire log, bringing the left ankle over the right knee. And putting a block there if there's any space. You can also let gravity pull your knee down to the earth, but I prefer a block. Do what's right for you, always. This is a deep hip opening posture. Our hips, our legs, our knees, our ankles, our feet, our toes, these are all part of our roots, our grounding connection to Mother Earth. This time is a time of connecting to water and the earth. So connecting to this element of water within us, we are mostly water. This water moves through our bodies, around our cells, all of our tissues, all the layers that are us. And this water can carry messages. Our emotions can travel. Think about using the power of our roots and our connection to the earth to draw this water, these emotions, these messages that need to be released, to be washed away into the earth through your roots. So here we're awakening this area, much like if you are repotting. If you're taking a plant out of one space, then maybe it's outgrown, and you're releasing the roots, cleaning them up, shaking the dirt off that's maybe not nourishing anymore. And then you're placing your plant in a new pot with fertile soil. We're much like plants. We need the sun, we need water, we need fresh air. think about these roots being a place of release and also a place of renewal, where we can draw in nourishment from the earth. This beautiful cycle of death, release, renewal, rebirth happening within us in every moment. Check in with your alignment. We're sitting up nice and tall. Our crown is still reaching and connecting. As if there's this beautiful golden strand of light connecting up into the cosmos, being our connection to illumination within us from this full moon. The last breath here. Slowly release any props and gently unwind. Bring the legs out long in front of you, shaking them out. We will move into caterpillar pose. So keeping the legs out in front of you, and keep your blocks nearby if you like. Sometimes you need a little help getting to the earth. Make sure your sit bones are rooted into the earth here. So moving any extra cushioning out of the way. And finding again that nice tall spine. I'm thinking here about connecting with the breath. And on the inhale, drawing those energies up through the soles of your feet, all the way to the crown of your head. And on the exhale, drawing in that new energy and pushing out, releasing what no longer serves you. It's just connecting with the breath, moving through the feet, inhaling, drawing energy up, exhaling, letting go, pushing that energy out. And this is a continuous cycle. So as we release through to the earth, the energy is renewed and comes back into the ethers and through us. Just a continuous cycle of energy moving through this channel, through the crown of our head, down our spine, to our roots, to the earth. Inhale, lengthen the spine a little more, even just with your intention, and begin to walk the hands out, keeping the spine straight. Wherever you are today, just allow your head to hang heavy and your spine to round. You may want to place blocks on top of your legs to support your head, or you can choose to let gravity draw you towards the earth. And just focus on the breath here, following the breath from the crown to the soles of the feet. We'll begin sprinkling in a few affirmations in our practice. You can repeat these to yourself as you wish, or repeat whatever you like. Just a suggestion and invitation. I release the past, embracing the present with open arms. I release the past, embracing the present with open arms. On the inhale, keeping the head down, gently walking the hands back and bringing the head up last. And pause at the top here and just notice the pose leaving your body. You can move any props aside. We'll be moving into pigeon. So we can take this from tabletop. I'll give you a couple of options here. So from tabletop with knees stacked under the hips and the wrists stacked under the shoulders, we just draw the right knee forward towards the hands and bring the right ankle towards the left wrist. Now you don't have to have your shin parallel to the front of the mat. This can be where your ankle is closer to the groin if you like, whatever feels right to you. And then bringing that left leg out long behind you and placing your hands on the mat, pressing away from the earth. Option 2 is to take a figure 4 stretch. This is from the supine position, laying down with our knees bent and our feet hip distance apart. We'll bring the right ankle to cross over the left knee. And then you can stay here or reach through and interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. This is the same stretch, just a little easier on the knees. So whatever variation you would like to take, feel free to take it. Here we're again thinking about the hips sinking or thinking about that right hip opening up. And this release in the right hip. You may also choose to, at some point, come down to a bolster or your forearms and come into a sleeping swan. And if you get here and that feels like it's a little too far, feel free to back out of it. Just allowing your head to sink towards the earth, releasing the back of the neck. And gently unwinding out of this pose and pressing away from the earth to release. If you're taking the supine posture, maybe pulling the knees in towards the chest for a moment, or if you're in the upright position, taking a brief child's pose. And then we'll move into the other side. So from tabletop, drawing the left knee forward to meet the hands. And then right leg comes out behind you. You can also place a block under the thigh as well for extra support. I should have cued that a little earlier, but sometimes that is a nice little cushion for us. Our next affirmation here is: with each exhale, I let go of what no longer serves me. With each exhale, I let go of what no longer serves me. If you feel called to come closer to the earth, feel free to do so. Gently unwinding, removing any props, placing them to the side. We'll be moving into child's pose. We'll take a wide-legged child's pose, but if you would like to take a traditional child's pose with the knees together, you can. I like to place a blanket on the mat just to support my knees, give them a little cushion. Bringing knees width of the mat and sending the hips back, walking the hands out in front and either coming to a bolster or to the earth. Begin to allow your heart to open to the earth. We carry so much on our hearts, so much weighs heavy on us. We carry our grief there. We carry love there, courage, strength, joy, connection. There's a lot of energy that we hold in our hearts. So if there's an energy that you are looking to release, Use this time to open your heart and let it flow to the earth. And if you are needing a little nourishment for your tender heart, use this time to draw on the nourishment of Gaia and of the earth energies. And gaze comes towards the hands. And gently walk the hands back, taking a moment here just to pause at the top. Maybe rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears. And placing our hands over our heart center in gratitude to the earth. Move into cat-cows. You can take these from a seated position from Sukhasana, or you can take them from tabletop. So from tabletop, still using the blanket maybe to cushion our knees. Our knees stacked under our hips and our wrists under our shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide, palms pressing into the earth here. Find a nice neutral spine, crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. And on the inhale, gently dropping the belly, gaze comes upward, tailbone rises. Exhale, rounding into cat. Gaze comes towards the navel, pressing away from the earth, rounding the shoulders and tucking the tailbone. Inhale, dropping the belly for cow. Gaze comes up, tailbone rises. And just moving through these at your own pace with your breath. Make your movements intentional, connecting the movement with the breath. If it helps to think of that breath traveling from the base of your spine to the crown of your head, feel free to visualize that. Our affirmation here: with every breath, I inhale renewal. With every breath, I inhale renewal. You feel free to take atypical movements, maybe some hip circles or isolating the rib cage, some body rolls, feeling into all of those little spaces. Are there any corners within you that have little secret messages? Last breath here. Coming back to a neutral spine. And then making your way to your back on your mat. Keep a block nearby as we'll move into supported bridge. If you're at home, you can also use a pillow or a bolster, maybe even some books if you don't have a block. And then laying down, just tuck the shoulder blades together under the body. Bring the knees bent, feet hip distance apart, and let's start with just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Keeping the hips in contact with the earth here, just isolating that movement to the knees, nice and slow. Just saying hello. Hello to our hips, hello to our spine. And we'll come back through center. And locating your block, we'll press through the soles of our feet, gently lifting the hips up and placing that largest surface area of your block underneath your sacrum. This is just below your lower back. Just allowing your sacrum to rest here, supported by the block. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. Hands can rest on the rib cage or at your sides. And come back to the breath. Maybe check in with your intention. See if you can let go of any tension in your glutes, in your legs, and just allow your sacrum, your hips to rest here. Feeling our weight in our shoulders here. Our shoulder blades are pressed into the earth. We also carry a lot of tension in our shoulders, so inviting the gentle release here with each exhale. Any tightness being carried away by the breath. Carried through the arms and out the fingertips. We'll press through the feet, lifting the hips and gently removing the block, setting it aside and lowering the hips back down to the earth. Maybe draw the knees in towards the chest, grabbing on wherever you can, maybe the back of the thighs or the shins or your clothing, and just rocking gently side to side. A little nourishment for our lower back, for our sacrum, and drawing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall open for Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly. And we can place pillows, blankets, or blocks underneath our thighs to support us. And play around with where you would like your ankles to be, either closer towards the body or further out. Feels good to you, to your knees, to your hips, to your back. Tuning into those little messages. What is your body telling you? Our affirmation here: as I release, I create room for new, vibrant energy. As I release, I create room for new, vibrant energy. Releasing the blocks, spreading the legs out long. Take a little stretch here, all the way from our fingertips to our toes. Okay, we'll move into Banana Asana. So from this position, walking the ankles over to the right bottom corner of the mat and crossing the left ankle over the right. Our arms up overhead. We can cactus the arms, bend them here, moving our shoulders to the top right corner of the mat. See if you can keep the shoulders and the back of the arms in contact with the earth, bringing them down closer to the body if needed. Really feeling into the opening of the left side body here. All of those places, all the spaces in between the ribs, those tiny little muscles opening up, stretching and releasing. Maybe focusing the breath here as if you're breathing from the side body. And gently unwinding, coming back through center. Maybe drawing the knees in again, just to reset. And bringing the legs out long. Walking the ankles over to the left side of the mat, right ankle crossing over the left. Arms up overhead and bringing the shoulders and the arms to the left top corner of the mat. Creating that crescent shape, and really feeling into the opening and the release on the right side body. Each breath filling every space. Notice where the breath travels. And tiny sensations that we feel as we inhale and exhale. Gently unwinding, coming back through center, taking any final postures you would like to take before Shavasana. As you move into Shavasana, taking up some space on your mat and maybe a little off your mat. Take up some space today. Let the legs come out long, the feet fall open, arms at your sides, palms facing up to receive, and palms facing down to ground. And allow yourself to rest here. Allow the breath to settle. If it is quick, let it be quick. If it is slow, let it be slow. Noticing the points of contact you have with the earth, how you are supported here by the earth below and held by the space around you, by our collective energies as a community. Coming here together to share in this practice, to support and to love. Notice that flicker of light and space between your brows. And as we close our practice, as we rest and integrate, affirming that I trust my intrinsic wisdom. I trust my intrinsic wisdom. Learning to trust the inner voices, the inner knowing, to deepen the connection with our bodies and our minds. Begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe make some circles with the wrists and ankles. Gently working into soft movements of the limbs. Slow, deep stretch. Awakening back into the physical body. And then in your own time and in your own way, making your way to a seated position facing me. seated, spine nice and tall. Once again, just bringing our hands to our heart here. Taking a breath and just expressing our gratitude for this time, this space that we have shared together, this connection that we have deepened within ourselves and with each other. It is my greatest wish that you carry the benefit of tonight's practice with you throughout the rest of your week. Your evening is not enough. I wish that you carry the peace that you feel in this moment with you as you navigate whatever is coming your way. And with this full moon, release those stories, those thoughts, those ideas that need to be released. You have a big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it all go one last time. Satnam, may you align with your favorite version of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me in this practice this evening.